Noisiest things
Yeah.
I could possibly eat.
Yeah, is the ocean?
there's some sort of-
oceans
yeah.
are.
What?
Some sort of feedback, like a
Me?
yeah.
I don't know. It's always. I think it's you, Kim.
Well, if we mute him for a moment,
Should I sign out and come back in?
We're always getting the feedback we don't want from you, Kim.
Always
kind
having
of
a
feedback
weird
we don't
technical
want.
problem. Let me turn off everything. I don't know if that'll help.
Turn off everything. Turn it all off.
I'll turn off messages.
I'm trying to. There we go.
Turn off. What else do I have open? iTunes.
None of this is exciting.
it's all very exciting.
This is all a rare opportunity for anyone who's watching right now. I know Jim.
Oh, that's
I
right,
think-
because we're on the air right now.
Yeah. So I think. What is this damn
Custom overlay. I don't know.
this hiss that we've got here? It's a hiss.
Yeah. Can mute your
For
microphone
me?
for a sec? Yeah.
Yeah. Mute your microphone. See if that's you.
Yeah, it's definitely her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim. Oh, Kim,
Why?
it's you.
Have you
Hey.
checked which source mic you're using right now? Yeah, of course not.
You don't know what the hell's going on.
Blah, blah, blah. Where do I do that? Hang on. I'm still in the
Well,
toolbox.
you know where you would
oh,
hang
I
up
see.
at the
Yes.
top, you hit the little
Yes.
settings and
Yeti microphone.
okay.
Default speakers. I have my earbuds plugged in.
Well, now it's gone. It sounds like
Yeah.
it's like the ocean has receded. It's like the tide is
I
out.
don't do anything. Madness.
Is like the air conditioning nearby or something?
Do you have a
No.
fan on?
Fan? Yeah. No.
No.
That's sort of what it sounds like.
Maybe because my mic is sitting on my laptop.
Yeah, the laptop
maybe.
fan, perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Perhaps your laptop
fan going? You know, maybe kind of a little hum there.
Sounds like a little hum to you. It sounds like a hurricane to us. People in Puerto Rico just had flashbacks.
All right. Well, it's a little better. All right. Did I just post that? Okay. Doesn't matter. All right. Well, let's start up. We've been recording ever since. So.
Great.
All right. How do we start this up? We started up.
I think you just did.
We just did. We just started this up as we are finishing it up. The last Star Trek of 2017. Last Star Trek Discovery aired tonight. Hello. Welcome. Jolan True. My name is, I can't, what do they say in Klingon? What is it? It's not Kapla, but it's like, what do they say? I can't remember. Like, I want to like follow like a series of greetings to people, and all I have is Jolan True. That's the only thing I know. And hello. So, Jolan True to you. My name is Mike McCafferty. I do a podcast called I Just Want to Talk About Star Trek. Some of you listen to it. Some of you have it on the background as noise. Some of you take a radically different view from what we're saying. We don't care. We don't care. I'm as constant as a northern star now in my opinions about Star Trek, and my opinions are correct. I've decided that. I've decided that I will no longer be swayed by the mass media, by Reddit, by any of these people. I know what's right about Star Trek.
You know, friends and coworkers.
My friends and coworkers, although I respect them, I can't allow them to sway my feelings.
Oh,
I cannot
really?
allow that. Well, until someone tells me different. No. But see, I have this cadre, this witch's brew of people who are trying to pull at me. Even now, my friends, Jim Kirk, my friends, the Doctor and Jason, are right now trying to sway my opinion about whether or not I have an opinion.
Oh, well. Maybe.
So who's here? Identify yourself.
Kim Miller,
Otherwise known as?
the doctor.
Correct. And
And I'm Jason McCarris.
Can
oh,
barely
Jason, you
hear
sound
you.
you sound far away. I don't know what happened there.
Far away. Well, and I want to sound too
Ah,
loud.
there you are.
No, you sound perfect.
Okay, that's good.
Now you sound perfect. All right, so now we are perfect. We're well met. We've wasted your time. We'll do that no longer. So we have the final episode of the fall season of Star Trek, which is a weird thing to say,
Yeah.
but it's one of these weird prevalent things now where they're breaking stuff up.
Yeah.
We saw the first 9 episodes of Discovery, and we finish it off with what episode, Kim?
Into the forest I go.
Into the forest I go. That sounds like fake pretentious, right? It seems like they're just kind of digging for pretentious names now.
Well, it's a
Children's
reference,
story.
right, to what he says when he goes into the last jump, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But where did he come up with that? It sounds sort of like a second choice for Into the Woods by Stephen Sondheim.
Yeah. Well, they were in the forest literally in the last episode. I was behind because I didn't join you guys last week, so I watched both episodes last week and this week, and that was a pretty weird episode last week. Literally in the forest. It was like one of the Avatar sequels we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, that was
Pavo.
Yes,
the planet Pavo
with their natural broadcasting antenna.
Oh, so many
KPVO.
And Saru running at high speed in his heels.
I tried to record that to get like a gif of that of him just running around, and I couldn't. It came out all wonky, but that is the best thing. Those weird rubbery arms, like they just we're not going to fix that. It looks terrible. Yeah, no,
I'll make that for you. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, please do. So that one was kind of a misfire for sure. But this one, Into the Forest I Go. What did we think about that? Jason, what did you think?
I felt like it took 9 episodes for us to get somewhere, and I'm not even sure where we got, to be honest. I mean, I guess I suppose we're getting to the mirror universe, right? I mean, is that what they're hinting at now, that they're stuck somewhere where they don't the base isn't there anymore? And
Yes. I mean, quite literally, we don't know where we've gotten to. Yeah. Kim, what did you think?
It was a lot to think about and process, but I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was pretty exciting toward the end, even as I was watching it on my tiny iPhone at work.
The way it was intended, the director's cut on the iPhone.
With many Chantix commercials and Thomas Middleditch interrupting and Facebook dumping into the middle of
Get that guy
the
off his Segway. My God. All of his good grace that we have for him now is being driven away on his crazy little Segway for these Verizon commercials that just play incessantly during this damn show.
Of course,
I thought that
when I met him before, it was while I was working for a company that was trying to engage him, and he was worried about overexposure, and now he's in every commercial ever.
Yeah, he took a big payout for that for sure.
Man, Verizon, it had to be huge.
Oh yeah, it's a couple $1 million.
American Express, a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, but it's those Verizon commercials, man. They're just too much. Too much.
He's the new, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Slash.
He's making a lot of money. So we don't like him anymore, and that's okay. He's
How much is it for the commercial free version?
It's $9.95. That is so Thomas Middleditch kind of money to do that.
What am I made of, Thomas Middleditches?
That will be 9 Middleditches, please. I can only afford 6. Well, then you get Chantix commercials. All right, so here's what I thought. I thought that this was much better than the last episode. I like the first halves of these episodes, and the second half I feel like they just don't know what they're doing half the time. And this still was better,
Really? But you like the first half better.
I did.
The setup as opposed to the payoff or lack
the setup was fun, and they had a great plan, and all the stakes were set up there. I was thinking about this. Here's a big problem. If you set up a plan in a TV show, inevitably that plan has to go wrong. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
Right. It's like, okay, so this is the big long plan, and there'll be no problems with it, and so therefore no stakes. And this plan went pretty much the way it was supposed to go, with a couple of small exceptions. Burnham had to, I don't know what the hell
discovering,
she was doing.
I think the fact that she got there at all, and the reason why my subtitle here, for those watching on television, is always follows orders, is because she constantly disobeys orders and never gets punished for it. And so does the captain.
Are you talking about when she broke away from him to go to the bridge and all that?
No, when she requested to go on the mission altogether, when he told her no. And she's like, when she gets a long speech, well, I guess it's okay. All right. You
wondering about that.
Question my authority in front of the entire bridge, but let's go ahead with that.
Yeah, at first I was like, why is he hesitating? But then I'm thinking maybe he is hoping to keep her around after this.
Well, there's some reason that he had her on board to begin with that we just really don't understand yet.
She was right. It's like, you brought me here for this purpose. Why would you not want me to go with this?
Well, she's always
what he
right.
Said
That's
he brought her on.
yeah.
That was his reasoning that he at least expressed. Who knows if that's true? We don't really know the real reasoning behind what he's doing yet.
Suppose.
Yeah, he's very cryptic, and that becomes a little bit problematic as well. You're right. Once again, Michael Burnham is disobeying orders. And, like, repeatedly he says, no, I need you here. I need you on the ship. You're important here. I mean, don't they have security officers? Don't they have people who are trained to do this, like Navy SEAL teams who are like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
hey, do we get the call today? I mean, there's this mission we can go on the Klingon ship. No. They're going to let this mutineer and this guy who has PTSD go on the ship.
It's funny you mentioned the SEALs because I totally thought of them when they were on the Klingon ship and they're so loud, chatting.
Oh my God! Yeah, they're just talking away and no
Very
one's paying
noisy
attention.
machinery.
And then again, she also, when we're talking about this, the two of them are on the ship, and they detect a human life form, and the way she said it drove me nuts because she said, "I have to go save this person" or something. It's not about like the mission or the crew or anything. It's always about what she wants. It's like, I want this, so this is what I'm going to do because my morality trumps all, and it doesn't really matter what's supposed to happen, but I feel like we're going to do this, so I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, that's true. She does, once again, I mean, to that point specifically, where the mission is far more important, where there's a trillion lives at stake,
Right.
and she's like, oh, I'm detecting a human life form in this place. We're going to go there, and this guy who's probably a Klingon has more sense of duty.
We're still clinging
We're
to that.
still on that theory.
Klingoning.
Well, I mean, like
we had that, flashbacks, very specific flashbacks about where he was still a human. So I'm not on board with this theory, really.
I think they took out his brain,
replaced
I
it.
think they Frankensteined him in there, and I mean, because like what's, and if not, then what the hell's going on here? There's this weird like forced sex situation here that we're all supposed to be like, oh, that's. I mean, like I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling with this guy. You know, I mean,
Well, that's part of what he was saying, though, right? Is that's how he saved his life and prolonged his life, was he was able to kind of coerce her into being his favorite, quote
encouraged it,
unquote.
yeah.
Encouraged
like
it,
saran wrap over his face and like cut him up, and then he flirts with her, and then we have like this strange Klingon sex scene with Klingon boobs. We have Klingon boobs for the first time ever. I think maybe
It's been a series,
ever. Like
it's been a
even
series
male
of
boobs.
firsts for sure.
We've only seen Larissa and Bertrand's boobs.
Larissa and hello, Captain Picard.
Seeing their boobs in full glory.
No, but we did get kind of a top-down shot of that because the internet demands that. So, like, here's where it falls apart. So again, like the problem with the plan is executed fairly well. There's not a huge lot of stakes, which are like the Discovery's never in any jeopardy. They're just like popping around, beep 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 beep, with the ship that we can all see, the Klingon ship we can all see, right? I mean, could you guys see that ship? I saw it. Could they just say like, let's just shoot that ship right there? I can see it every time we shoot someplace. But
Well,
there's
I would
no
love
stakes
for
in that.
somebody to kind of like clarify for me. One of our listeners will probably give me the nuance and the kind of detail of what the difference with this was. But they spent a whole lot of time explaining that the whole mission was about breaking the cloaking mechanism on the ship so that they could find out where the ship was. Meanwhile, they're able to detect when the ship is coming. They're like, the large cloaked ship just came into in our vicinity.
Long-range
Like,
scanners.
what the hell do we need to do this mission for?
I don't think it was cloaked when it arrived in orbit.
No, he said it. He
No.
actually said
He said
something
their
about a
ship
cloaked
arrived
ship.
in orbit. Really?
Well, they say like it was cloaked, I believe, when it was arriving.
When it
They
arrived.
said
I
long
could be
range.
wrong.
You
But
know,
when I heard it, it really kind of raised a red flag. Like, well, that's a little confusing because why? What's the whole point if they
See,
they
and-
can
and-
tell where the cloaked ship, at least a cloaked ship, is coming in?
and then this cloaked ship just kind of sits there, like cloaked.
I'm sorry,
Doing
the
nothing.
Klingon ship of the dead. Let's make sure they said it about 10 times
Ship
in
of the
this
dead.
episode.
Ship of the dead.
Ship of the Dead, the Ship of the Dead. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to watch Hot Streets on Adult Swim, one of the episodes I wrote was called Squid of the Dead, which has a very similar idea.
Like Shaun of the Dead.
No, it's called Squid of the Dead. It has it's like Ship of the Dead. So,
Very close corollary.
yeah, well, it's you'll see. You'll see.
Oh, okay.
You'll all see. Anyway, but
You'll all see. It sounds like a
you'll
threat.
all see. You'll all pay for all of this. I need my 9 hours back. I watched this show. Where the hell was the Tribble, too? The Tribble's there. The Tribble's gone. We did have... I also need to point out that we did have tables which reflected the CGI on both this and Orville. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I'm behind on Orville.
No one noticed this. Only I noticed this.
Tables
Okay,
that
so reflect the CGI. So there's one scene where they're in Lorca's ready room, and he's talking to somebody. I can't remember who he's talking to. Maybe it's Stamets or something like that. And they're at warp, and like on his table is the reflecting of like the little warp like zooming by.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, oh, they must have CGI'd it there. And then in Orville, there's a moment when they're talking to Admiral Halsey, and on the table, it's his image is being reflected. So like these shows run in lockstep so much, they go to their 80s and 90s songs, and then they seem to do the same thing at the same time. And just this week,
as long as Charlize Theron
tables.
doesn't try and open a window or touch a window, lean on a window.
Lean on the window, yeah. She could not lean on that window. We will get to the
I thought
Orville
of that
later
moment
on.
when I saw Thor Ragnarok the other night.
Oh, you did?
that bit when he leans, when Thor goes to lean on something and he does that. Awkward.
Aha! See,
You infiltrate my subconscious.
that is completely appropriate that we talk about that in the reference to Thor Ragnarok. Good movie, by the way. Good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But so I don't know how should we unpack this anymore. See, here's the second half of the episode. The Klingons, I don't know what the hell they're doing, man.
What's going on here? Kim just takes a giant
I
bite in
thought I
front of the
muted it.
microphone. As Mike's talking here.
Are you
I
anticipating
thought I
me
hit my
winding
mute
up?
button.
Oh God!
I thought it was a little too brazen. I guess I should have known you tried to mute yourself.
While we're blasting through this comedy here, I should remind you that you can watch all of this on the I Just Want to Talk About Star Trek Facebook page.
Here, I'll mute.
And you can see Kim eat food with her cat Isis behind her. Now she hit mute, so now we can't see her image. But she is doing
You
that.
can't see me when I hit mute?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You can
because
see you, we just can't hear you chewing.
Oh, I can see you, but I can't hear you.
no, I don't think we can see you. I think it's activated only when there's speech.
What?
I've
I was
seen-
muting it
I
earlier
see
when I
Kim.
was eating, and you didn't say anything.
Oh, because you're talking about the main screen.
Yeah, the main
at
screen, the
bottom.
people who are watching
Oh.
it. Yeah, so if Kim was silent, if she was the silent one, then
Right.
I can
and we wouldn't.
derailed you. Please continue.
I don't know
Yes.
where we even start.
I know.
Well, so my big problem with the Klingons in the second half of this episode is that they just stopped doing stuff. They just kind of sat on the ship and watched the Enterprise just like sit there. Didn't bother to fire any weapons. Didn't bother to leave. Didn't bother to do anything. Allowing the Discovery just to like shoot them eventually. I didn't know what the hell they were doing. So
Oh, they were in the middle of that battle, weren't they? And then it sort of just stopped.
Right.
yeah, they just stopped doing stuff. They just, like they were cloaked. They could at least like decloak and fire. It just seemed like because like there was even one point in time when they were like, Captain, they're not doing anything on the ship. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's just fire at them. And they just fired at them, and they just destroyed the Klingon ship. So there's a lot of weird inactivity on the Klingon ship all of a sudden.
It's a very funny moment after Burnham appears on their bridge, and she's talking to, what's his name again? Cole. And she's standing right next to a Klingon guy at his console.
Yes, he looked
Yes,
like
I did see
Daft
that.
Punk, like was playing
Just
right there.
ignoring him. I still got work to do, and
I know. He's like,
alien behind me.
somebody's got to keep this ship invisible, man. I got to keep on twisting these buttons, otherwise they're going to see us. Although I have questions about why there's a Federation officer right next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy like definitely is not getting a promotion in the afterlife. He is in Stovacor. He is
Absolutely not.
not going to be not going to be sung about because the man who saw the Federation officer next to him and did nothing.
So clarify for me too what happened when she was listening on the Universal Translator and she's hearing the stuff they're saying in Klingon and they're talking about cutting off her legs. They're talking about the Klingon woman, right?
Yeah, about Laurel.
So did she do that to save that person? Why did she come out of hiding all of a sudden and be like,
I thought they're talking about.
I am. Oh, you thought they were talking about the Admiral?
I thought they were talking about the Admiral. That's
but
what
they
I
thought
thought.
the Admiral was dead, right? Because she threw her up against the electricity and it looked like she was dead. And I think they thought she was dead at least.
Oh, I thought they were talking about Laurel. Yeah, they should probably talking about the Admiral. That makes more sense.
I need to understand like the rate of like decomposition on those ships because man, those Klingons were still there, right? I mean,
Am I crazy or did when they first broke into that burial chamber, was one of them being cooked in the middle of the floor?
Yeah.
Did you know?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That was a pile. It was like,
There's like a little pile of
there's a fire pile.
charcoal briquettes. Like what? What is that? Is she?
They're best when they're slow cooked, apparently.
Feeding herself in there.
I did not. I don't understand what that room is all about. I mean, it's just like this weird like custodial closet they have where they just like store bodies until they can do something with them, because no one's attending that room. And they're like, when was the last time we saw? Like, it was the last episode, right? But I mean, how long in between? I don't understand. What is no one cleaning up those bodies? What is it? Is it that guy who's got the Daft Punk helmet on? He's like, oh Jesus, I gotta go clean up that room, but gotta keep twisting these knobs.
The knobs were actually turning the fire up and down. That's what we
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Korean barbecue table.
Slow roasting them. It's like a pressure cooker or something. In 5 days, we will eat them. Okay. But someone was talking about the fact that we finally. So the best part about this is we finally get Klingons speaking English.
Oh, that was such a relief.
And then they are all dead. And then they just all get blown up. You sons of bitches.
As soon as they started speaking, I'm like, much better.
Don't have to read all caps font anymore. Thank
Don't
God.
have to listen to speech this slow. I'm like, speed it up.
Oh yeah, but and there was like a weird like people. I was looking on Reddit, not for opinions, mind you, but just to see what people were thinking, and people talked about the Red October moment where suddenly everyone's just speaking English, and we're all okay with that, right? Where the universal translator stopped translating.
Set that precedent in that movie, didn't they?
Yeah, the singing of the Russian, and then they kind of zip around, and there we go. So
it was interesting how they.
Red October.
So in 3 hours, they were able to figure out how to thwart cloaking technology.
Yes.
3 hours,
but at a very high cost.
The might of the Federation, and then Saru and Burnham are like, oh yeah, by the way, there's graviton waves, and we can kind of tell where they're at, but if we just put these giant loud beacons on the ship.
These bright blinking things that say, awaiting sensor, blah, 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 as soon as you plug them in.
With the Federation insignia on them, no less. So if I'm a Klingon, I'm like, oh, what the hell's this? Oh, Jesus, man. Look at what is it? Speaking in English? I should turn this off, right? I mean,
let's put it in that broom closet with all those bodies cooking, and where we keep our prisoners as well.
Right? Yeah, prisoners' bodies, beacons, whatever you want. We put it all there.
Did anybody catch the reference? Well, I wanted to talk about Anthony Rapp's character for a second because they telegraphed that so much of it. His final jump. For a second, I thought Lorca was actually going to screw with him or do something, to keep him going because he was just telling him point blankly, "I'm not going to jump anymore." And I didn't think Lorca was just going to accept that.
I'm thinking, can he do that? And he's just saying, "I'm not going to help you anymore."
Yeah.
Can he just walk away?
Who, Lorca
the dramatic,
or Stamets?
Stamets. You just say, "I'm not going to do it. You need me to do anymore."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, basically, Lorca sort of ordered him to do it. And I mean, and then it ordered the doctor to make him do it until he dies.
Right.
And then he just kind of lets him off the hook. It's like, we could just warp over there or not. It's not a big deal. The inconsistency of how Lorca's portrayed or betrayed is also kind of frustrating to me as well, because I don't know if I want to like him or not. And it sort of goes in line with this Ash Tyler character too. It's like we need to pick a lane for these guys. I mean, it's fun for a little while, but every other episode, Lorca's a good guy or a bad guy, and we don't know what he's up to. And it's like, I don't care that much to be kept in the dark that much.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he was a bad guy in this episode?
It seemed like for most episodes, it seemed like he wasn't, and then
Keep him alive until we finish 133 jumps.
well, I mean, like that, I can see him just being a hard ass. He's kind of
That's
like
dark,
a,
yeah, but not evil.
he's like who was it? In the There Are Four Lights episode. God, what was his name?
Oh, yes. David Warner?
No, not David Warner. No, the Captain Jellicoe. Captain Jellicoe, just like a hard ass who's like my way or the highway. We're going to do it. But then, and some people, and the other reason I went and read it is because people like just like the crowdsourcing figures out stuff. But people screen captured what Lorca was pressing on his little console at the end,
Right.
and he had basically taken over navigation and programmed it for an unknown location for that
What?
last jump.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. It like it says all the jumps, and the last one it says unknown. Like he overrides navigation. People have like 3 panels of that. I should have sent this to you guys. But like he overrides navigation, and then he presses like destination unknown.
That's interesting.
So
That's cool.
the current theory is that he is actually part of the mirror universe.
Everyone's the mirror universe.
Everyone wants to go to the mirror universe. I know.
Everyone wants to work in the mirror universe.
Well, they really laid the groundwork for that this time, right? When he was mapping out all the places
yeah.
that they jumped to and everything. And
Yeah. So people say that, like, well, because he didn't really remember some of the stuff that he did with Admiral Caldwell or whatever her name is, that he has scars on his back that she doesn't remember and that seem to be more healed than when he was being
Right.
tortured. The fact that he always keeps a phaser, which is in line with the mirror universe of always, being ready for combat, and that he's been tracking all this stuff and finding these mirror universes. I don't know if he's I
He's
don't
trying
know.
to get back to his correct universe or something like that.
Could be, yeah, could be. He's trying to get back to the, plus
gosh.
he has to do eye drops so he can, I don't know, look at like
well,
explosions or something.
yeah, exactly. They're going to blow up the ship, so he had to get ready.
I'm like, what the hell's? Oh, Jesus,
Yeah.
man, wow.
Bright lights.
And they just
Just
kind
like
of
Gizmo from Gremlins.
right, yeah, they can't.
Bright light, bright light. Old references.
Old. So, I mean, these are my kind of pet peeve stuff, but overall, I thought the episode was pretty good. Overall, like, this is one of the better ones. I liked the fact that we're done with the Klingons, essentially, as far as, like, a major storyline, it seems like, at least for this season.
Oh, I don't. Well, I mean, they kept saying that they were coming back in force now because they were seeking revenge for the dead ship.
Ship of the dead.
Ship of the dead.
Ship of the Dead. I guess, but I mean, they had this guy Cole, and he did nothing. And like for nine episodes, he really didn't do anything. And then they blew him up, which is like,
Yeah.
okay, good. Let's
Because I was just starting to enjoy him too. I thought he was kind of creepy in this episode and was interesting, and then of course they
You
killed
like
him.
their West Side Story knife fight.
Yes.
Like, where's the batlet?
yeah. He throws her a knife. I mean, like
They
again,
look
these
like
Klingons.
hedge clippers.
Yeah.
Topiary competition.
Here's the thing that bugs me is that they're cloaked. They're engaging an enemy Federation ship that's right outside their window. It's just sitting there, and like he's taking time out to fight this girl because she challenges him. Like, I challenge you to a fight. You got it. It's like, what
right.
about that ship out there? Hey, remember how we're cloaked because they're like jumping all over the place and shooting photon torpedoes at us? We should leave, or we should destroy them.
Well, why
That
does
one
everybody-
guy tried to
that's
tell him.
Part of what I'm talking about is why does everybody just listen to her all the time, including the Klingons?
Yeah, she's like the Star
captain,
Trek whisperer.
The guy who her love interest on the ship when they were on the
Ash.
mission, Ash. Everybody just listens to whatever she says. Okay, I
She's
guess
so
if you said it. Yeah. The other thing was
she-
the love story was really driving me nuts too. I mean, I kind of enjoy them together, but it's so cheesy the way they present it with like. The way he pulls out of his PTSD is by picturing them kissing in the woods from the last episode. I'm like, oh God, really? That just seemed so hokey.
You're so jaded, Jason.
Well, I'm sure there's a much more romantic way of writing that in as opposed to just flashing back to them kissing in a tent with Saru outside.
There are people in their teens and 20s who love this, Jason, because you
It's
are
straight out of the
jaded.
Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he is sort of half vampire. I was looking at the Klingons' fingers, and they got those crazy vampire fingers, and it's like, how do they press any buttons with those long fingernails? And
I just like how the female Klingon on her outfit has just got like lipstick sticking out of all those shoulder pads.
Oh yeah.
That's what it looks like. It looks like Lee press-on nails with like red fingernails attached on. It's like, it's not a good look.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. The other thing I was going to point out was, I don't know if anybody caught the reference, but right before Adam Rapp's character gets in the spore drive unit there with his husband, and he mentions that they're going to go to that moon after the jump where they're going to see La Boheme, which is Rent, which they were both in. It was based on La Boheme, and it's like, okay, there's your reference for you.
Easter egg.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of an Easter egg, which was just overshadowed.
It felt a little forced to me. Yeah.
Hey, as soon as I do this very last jump,
yes,
you and I are going to go to a special moon and watch that opera. You do that for me? Hey, after this last jump, I'll do anything.
Where nothing terrible could happen in the next several minutes.
So close to retirement, Riggs.
I know, it is. It is the Lethal Weapon moment there of, the McBain last day on the job.
I think that was Danny Glover's catchphrase. So close to retirement, Riggs. Riggs. Too old for this shit.
So let's. Is there anything else we want to talk about specific about this? We had a very short Tilly sighting here in a different configuration.
Yeah.
She your new favorite character?
Configuration.
How do you like her, Jason? Tilly, Gilly, is there a connection?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same in my book.
Oh no, the Tilly Gilly.
Was I supposed to say that? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I mentioned the side effects. She's the worst. I'm sorry, I don't like her character at all.
She's the worst.
She's the worst.
Maybe
they'll find a way to redeem her, but I just I guess all right, maybe she's just a loudmouth.
Yeah, I'm sure she has a big following of younger people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Girls.
Yeah. Youth is always accommodated for. Now that we are old and outdated, we are going to be mothballed here soon.
Captain Dunsel.
We are Captain Dunsel. Best regards to Captain Dunsel. The ultimate computer. Oh my God. That's exactly what's going to happen to us. They're going to just say, your opinions are no longer relevant. We are all about Spore Drive and about Tilly and about Ash is not a Klingon. He is dreamy. And Star Trek is no longer, because none of those things pertain to Star Trek. This is Battlestar Galactica Part 2. And we hope
really
you like
is, isn't it? It's Battlestar Galactica. I mean, that's going to be the big reveal, is that Klingons look like people now, and everybody can be a Klingon. And then there's somebody comes and shoots everybody, and oh my God, they were a Klingon the whole time.
Except we can say fuck.
We can say fuck and show Klingon boobs.
Oh my God.
All right, so
by the way, that sex scene. That's nice that they have sex in a nice bed with sheets. Like, whose room is that? Klingon bedroom. Sheets.
Get me nice silk sheets. Oh, all right. I mean,
wouldn't she just be like on a pile of nuts and bolts? I don't know. What would they sleep on?
While Malorta is playing in the background.
Malorta. This will put him in mood.
See, I mean, I don't know. Like, I could go down a very... I have lots of mechanical questions about that, about the sexualizing of him and how that actually happens with a male human.
I was just wondering the same thing, because I don't know anything about Klingon biology, but...
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like... I see, again...
In the history of the series, I mean, or the franchise, I should say, have there been half human, half Klingons before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's definitely possible. Yeah. So
it's definitely possible. No, we're done. That's the end of it. So.
The blue show.
I could be issuing an apology by the end of this. I could be, drummed out of podcasting world.
You'll say something and you will get named 30 years from now. You made me uncomfortable.
Made me uncomfortable with his podcast. His podcast went into my ears, and I didn't ask for it. Oh my God! Oh, stop! All right, so so we did have our first male kiss, I believe.
I noticed that as well.
But also in the Orville, they also had an alien male kiss as well.
Hey, that's true.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they share scripts and say, hey, let's do the same thing every single week and just like totally
funny.
mess with everybody. Because
I haven't caught up yet, so I didn't see the latest episode. So
you
that's
didn't?
crazy. No.
Oh,
yeah.
well, our friend Derek Mears,
Yeah.
kissed an alien man, and it was fabulous. It was great. I mean, it was fine. They're actually very similar kisses. They're both filled with passion. Again, I'm in trouble. I don't know how to talk about this stuff. Yeah. So let's pull back a little bit. Let's use our Spore Drive to pull back a little bit and talk about this first half of the season. Give me some thoughts on this, you guys. Preferably out loud. Come on, Michael Burnham.
I was deferring to the doctor.
Let's say the right thing, as Michael Burnham always does.
Okay, what did you like? What have you liked most so far?
Who, me?
It's easy to go, I hate this, and that. But what are you glad to see so far?
I think the special effects are phenomenal. I'd
agree.
This is on par with Game of Thrones level as far as just the effects and the costumes and it just looks beautiful. And the acting is pretty good too at times. They're not responsible for the plots. They're not responsible for the writing. But sometimes acting's I didn't mind Sonequa Martin Green tonight. She was actually towards the second half. She was okay.
You don't like her some of the other times?
I think she's really inconsistent. I think her Vulcan/human side, she just flips that on and off with a switch, and it's I don't know who you're being. I mean, sometimes she's passionate, and it's Captain, we have to do this. And other times you hear her switching into this Vulcan stuff, and no one ever calls her on it. And it's just oh, the line reads like a Vulcan, I'll read like a Vulcan. It's again, as with Lorca, as with Ash Tyler, I don't know which direction this character is, and it's so wishy-washy. I can't tell if they're doing it on purpose or if they're doing it by accident. All right, you guys have had time to think.
Well,
you brought up new stuff to think about.
Yeah.
Go, Jason.
I've always liked her. I feel like she's pretty good. I guess I can see your point. There needs to be a little consistency, I guess, where she's just because she has those dual sides to her doesn't mean she has a split personality disorder, right?
Yeah.
Anyone? Bueller? Fry? What happened to Mike? Did we lose Mike?
Hey,
we're podcasting on our own. Yeah.
Jeez, I look away for 10 seconds. Uh-oh, you're going to railroad us into a Star Wars discussion.
Oh, he came back. Oh, that was close. Well, there he is.
Back?
Yes, you're back. We were both chatting and you were gone.
Oh my gosh.
It was perfect.
I got error 21. I don't know what the hell that was.
I was almost ready to turn this into I just want to talk about Star Wars.
No!
We'll have to see how that plays out because you guys both froze and I was talking. I felt like I was in the Tholian Web episode where I was all by myself.
Because the live thing at the top was still there the whole time, so I figured, well, we're probably still on the air. So.
Oh yeah, mine completely.
Oh dear.
Captain Kirk floating on the Tholian Web. So I won't cut that out. It doesn't matter. We're just going to keep on playing through.
I'm shocked. I thought you would seamlessly edit that right out.
I'll cut out the beginning where we chatter incessantly. So, Jason, did you you were starting to say something and then I missed
I was just saying that there's a difference between having dual parts of somebody's persona, but not necessarily having split personality disorder. With the whole Vulcan human thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, such a huge line drawn between the two, and she plays both sides, like you're saying. I can kind of see that, but I do like her. I think she's really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of am a little confused by her character too. So, I don't know if we were expected to see someone who's more like a human-ish Vulcan, or someone who's more Vulcan and trying to be human. So I'm kind of puzzled about where that falls.
Yeah, it's probably inconsistent writing. I mean, it would be more interesting for us, I think, as the viewers, to watch her as a a human raised as a Vulcan try to find her human self again. But
Yeah, I'd
because
like
of
to
her
see
writing,
that.
yeah, that seeing that like where she's like, I'm on a ship full of humans. I don't know how to deal with that. Of course, that was 7 years ago. They should have just plopped her like again. We
Yeah,
have the
that's
Brian
true.
Fuller
I
era.
forgot that there's 7 years have passed since she left Vulcan. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we do have
the
that
other
weird.
thing is we really don't know all that much about her other than her relationship with her adoptive parents and, you know, that she was in the Muffin Pan Academy.
Yeah.
We really don't know all that much about her. About her, you know, her service and how,
Her
you know,
parents and all that.
Yeah.
We know more about her parents and her adoptive brother than we do about her,
Sure.
because we know about Sarek and Amanda and Spock.
Right.
And we even know more about Cybok than we do know about her. But that's a whole different story. So do we have any? So I think like the other thing I'll say is this: is that we need to be hard on this season because there's so much riding on it. And nowadays, there's no chance for a series to breathe. It's like you have to hit the ground running. But the first season of Next Generation was terrible, and the first season of Deep Space Nine was rough. First season of Voyager, first season of Enterprise, all very dicey. So
I had that same thought tonight when I was watching the show, and I just kind of thought, well, maybe this really does find its footing and gains legs next season and really kind of runs with something that's great. Because I almost feel at this stage, even at episode 9, I enjoyed episode 9 way more than I enjoyed the first few episodes, just because there's, you know, I understand at least who the characters are and a general sense of what's going on, having spent that much time with them so far. It was that much more enjoyable for me.
yeah,
I'm sure next season will be the same.
Yeah, I like Saru. I like Lorca. I mean, Stamets every once in a while. I mean, there are characters who I'm like, I want to know more about these guys. And now that if they keep on pressing forward as opposed to like, let's really dig into like the Klingon hierarchy of this and that and the other thing. No one cares about that. Let's go to the mirror universe.
Yeah, we got a lot of that in Next Generation.
Yeah, we know all about that. And it's either a retread or you're retconning it into something different. So, I mean, we'll come back. This is my promise to you, my podcasting friends. We'll come back. We will cover the rest of these episodes in January. I'm prepared to make that promise, unless Feral Audio decides not to pay for any more of CBS All Access, in which case we're done. We are out.
God forbid we pay for our own CBS.
With full commercials.
With full commercials.
With even more commercials. Only
Double
Chantix.
I'm going to start smoking just so I can quit. I mean, it seems like a good deal. All right, shall we shift over to the Orville? Should we talk a little bit about George Takei, of all things?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I don't know how much in depth we want to get into that. It seems like every time we have a podcast, we have more allegations and more horrible things to talk about.
I told these fools that I would like to start a pool and when William Shatner gets named. It's got to be just a matter of time.
I said he's in his safe room right now waiting for the storm to pass. Right?
Or you may be right that all his possible accusers have probably died a long time ago.
Unfortunately, it's probably true.
Well, unless he was going after young girls.
And even so, that would have been maybe, I don't know how many years ago.
I think he's so narcissistic that like he doesn't fancy himself pressing himself upon people. He just expects people to press themselves upon him. I mean, maybe I'm completely on that, but like it just seems like he just expects people to throw themselves upon him. They like he's baffled by it.
Yeah.
You're frozen up.
You're breaking up there, fool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's your internet connection.
Uh-oh, you're frozen.
Yes.
Take a screenshot because he always does that to me.
Wi-Fi. Yes. Oh, quick. For the listeners, I'll be taking a screenshot of Mike's frozen face on our screen right now. Because he looks rather ridiculous.
While we wait for him to come back, my friend Andy Lowe, friend of the podcast, listener, he posted on Facebook while we were talking.
Oh.
When we were talking about the Klingon burial chamber.
Yes.
He says, Mike, the room where the Klingon bodies are piled is an embalming room. I think Takufma had a couple scenes in the first episode there.
Oh.
The idea is that Cole has no respect for their dead or the sarcophagus ship. So the bodies just pile up.
Oh, right. Yeah, because, I mean, the bodies should be on the outside of the ship eventually.
I presume that the first part of tonight's
Well, then
episode...
why not just throw them outside the ship?
You're back. He says, I presume that the first part of tonight's episode takes place pretty much right after last week, but I don't understand why Laurel was hanging out in this room and not the Klingon break or something.
We've seen a break. I don't understand. Like, why don't they just... Like, are they just going to eat her? Is it like I mean, it's the embalming / eating room? What is that all about?
Yeah, she was cuffed too, right?
Was she?
Yeah, she had like handcuffs on at first. I thought, well, like
I didn't know.
Some sort of like, you know, arm cuffs.
Handcuff her and put her in the embalming room.
In the embalming room.
Post no guards. Just
Makes
lock
perfect
the door. We'll eat the bodies and then we'll kill her later.
What?
Put her next to that most probably dead human who we will not check for vitals. All this is fine. We are Klingons.
We know her plan the entire time, but we're not going to call her on it until much, much later. Oh dear! Now Mike is popping in. We've headshot. Mike's here twice. This is great.
Mirror universe.
The mirror universe.
What's happening?
What's going on here? You guys talk for a second. I'm going to check my internet connection. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh my god! If anybody is
for those
actually
home,
viewing this
Mike,
on Facebook,
Mike has actually entered the mirror universe. We have two versions of Mike in the chat right now.
there are 4 people talking here. Which one? Which one is the real Mike? Shoot the other one.
It's utterly ridiculous.
Ask him something that only Mike would know.
Well, so we didn't really talk much about. I know Mike had mentioned that our friend Derek Mears was in the Orville this week, which is really
tell
awesome.
us who Derek is. You guys know him from?
Oh well, Derek we've known from Channel 101 for many years, and he's one of the sweetest guys and just amazing dudes you could ever meet. He was Jason in Friday the 13th of the reboot, and among many other characters. But so he is, he was on the Orville this week. He's on Twin Peaks, I mentioned too, which he had an amazing scene in Twin Peaks where he arm wrestled Kyle MacLachlan. And but yeah, so he is going to come on the podcast with us at some point, hopefully in the next
this week,
next week, some point,
awesome,
when he's available, and he'll tell us a little bit about being on the Orville.
All right, I'm back.
I just want to talk about Star Trek first. Have a current guest star on a current show.
Yeah, I mean, he was great on that, on the Orville. Kim, did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. The episode, not so great.
Naked Time.
I saw you post it was the combination of two, a Next
Naked
Gen
Time
and original.
And Lonely Among Us.
Lonely Among Us. They just take it like verbatim. It's so weird. I mean, so in this episode, Lonely Among Us, Jason, there are 2 warring races, one that looks like cats and one look like snakes.
Next Generation.
Next Generation, and they put them on like separate decks, and they're hunting each other throughout the entire episode. It's like a weird B plot, but it's like, what are you guys doing? We already saw this. Why would you do this again? And although I did like Rob Lowe on that, he was actually pretty fun.
I didn't realize that was even him the first time we saw him. Was it? It must have been.
No, I don't think it was. I think
really?
Because like they made a couple things about, oh, you look really good. You look really different. I think they were kind of alluding to
I didn't
that.
go back and rewatch that first episode. But yeah, it was kind of fun to see him on there. Another surprise guest star.
Yeah. It was a little, this show is so much for kids. Like I said to the kids today, hey, we're going to watch the Orville. I'm like, okay. And then they have like this large, like sexually explicit material TV-14. I'm like, what
really?
are you doing? And then like, they got the doctor and a bunch of goo, Norm Macdonald goo. And it was very, very odd. And the boys are just kind of looking at me like, we're going to skip past that. It's like, no, we want to watch. Like, no. But
I don't know about the assessment that it's for kids. I've heard you say this for weeks now, but I don't know if it's for kids. I think it's it's maybe a tamer version of Family Guy, which is definitely not for kids.
I think it is for kids. I just don't think they realize it yet because my kids love it, and I think the stories are so simplistic that we all kind of guess what's going to happen. Midway through, we all like, oh, they're doing this one again. And so for like the normal adult human being who's watching this, we've already guessed what's going on. But for the kids, they're like, oh, I've never seen this before. So
Star Trek Junior.
It is. It's Star Trek Junior. It's just, hey kids, you want to watch a little bit of Star Trek with a couple of dick jokes in it that are completely incongruous?
Almost every week we hear, "Stop being a dick. That guy's acting like a dick." Jeez, he likes that joke.
Yeah, I just they have like a whiteboard in the writer's room that says the word "dick" on it, and they're just like, "Man, we
yeah, go ahead, be a dick about it. All right,
do this a lot more." I just don't care that much about their relationship.
Who?
I could between Mercer and his wife
Kelly? Oh.
and Kelly. Yeah, it's. I mean, it was an interesting reveal that maybe. So Jason just like the blue guy shows back up, and it's revealed that like once a year he goes into heat, and everyone he touches falls in love. The episode, Kelly says like, "Hey, were you in heat last year? Is that why I find you so attractive?" And he's like, "Well, maybe." And so like Mercer and Kelly look at each other.
It kind of takes away her culpability because it wasn't her decision necessarily. That's what they're trying to lay down the groundwork for.
Yeah, but what a weird cop-out.
Forgive her for the affair because
yeah.
It was also a weird episode too because Ed Mercer and Kelly were completely incapacitated and they were useless basically. Like our heroes were ineffectual. They were in fact detrimental to the storyline, which is not very Star Trek-y. You know, I mean, in The Naked Time, Captain Kirk overcomes the little weird alcohol water because he loves the ship so much. That's the crucial moment. But these guys, they don't. They're just like, nope, we love the blue guy. You know, we're going to let these two species go to war. There's no sense of duty, which pulled them out of it. And I found that to be kind of a little inconsistent and just not very Star Trek
standards to the show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because this show is Star Trek Junior. It's so he wants to do
Seth MacLachlan, Seth MacFarlane. It's a hybrid of Kyle MacLachlan.
Seth MacLachlan.
Seth MacFarlane must behave as honorably as Kirk.
Well, I just think from a plot standpoint, to pull your two lead characters, and so there's a giant space battle at the end of the episode. And they don't care about it. They're like, I just want to be with the blue guy. It's like, really? That's more important than these people? And so it's up to like the junior officers to figure this out, which I've never seen that in Star Trek. I've never seen it to the point where they were so irresponsible that they would allow people to die. Because those ships are like shooting at each other.
Well, it's not Star Trek. Star Trek adjacent.
Star Trek adjacent, yes.
It's Seth MacLachlan.
Seth MacLachlan presents.
Definitely got
Star
more
Trek adjacent
sense of his goofball humor in this throughout.
Yeah, it's
more comedy. You're like, I hate the comedy. This was like mostly the comedy.
No, I can't do the comedy. I can't. I can't do Star Trek anymore. I'm done. This is my last episode. Close up shop.
You're gonna go watch a weird alien opera.
Watching
on a
Maroto edition.
Why does Stamets promise his boyfriend? I don't think they're married. His boyfriend this fantastic outing together, and only to go have it all fall apart. So I didn't realize that you had noticed that the captain had programmed in a weird destination, though. That's
Yeah, and someone else noticed that he said, like the way he said, let's go home or something like that, seemed very, I mean, they're going to Starbase 46, and they're not going
to be
home.
confused with Galaxy 27. Or
This is true, yeah. Or the number 47, which appears an inordinate amount of times in Star Trek. Okay. The writers love writing the number 47.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of a subtle nod to the number 47 by having Starbase 46. And no one should care about that but me.
Oh, fools. Our friend Andy is listening, and as we're talking about the destination that Lorca put in, he posted screenshots, and it does say override Lorca, G. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, so thank you, Andy. Hey, speaking of which, we got some great comments on the iTunes site.
Yeah.
Wonderful reviews. Let's see. What do we got here? And we read them. If you post a review on iTunes, then I or Jason or Kim will read them.
Eventually.
I think he included us because he doesn't want to read them himself.
Us reading them is its own reward for you.
Well, no, like if you put it in the review,
Isn't it?
if you say, please have Jason or Kim read this, then we'll do this. Otherwise, I'll read it.
Excellent.
All right, so I'm going to read this one from Jim Dabber, who is a big friend of the podcast. He says, cannot recommend this podcast enough. 5 stars. For anyone who remotely enjoys watching Star Trek, this is a must. Agreed. I usually listen to podcasts more times than I can remember. Mike and the gang, not to be mentioned.
The gang.
Hey, gang. It made me laugh out aloud. I just wish I could rate this podcast 6 stars, or said in proper terms, I see 6 stars, ladies and gentlemen.
That's very powerful.
Yeah, we're
great.
very happy about that. Let's see, are you guys still there?
Yep.
Yes.
Still here.
Okay, I just heard some fun.
Yeah, I know this.
But
I moved my mic a little bit.
Yeah, I
it's
think
like a
this is what it was.
storm comes over my internet and it just stops everything. I don't know what this is. All right, here's another from Astrofly 522. Enterprising Voyage of Discovery. Wow, that's well done.
Oh,
Podcast is great. I've been listening since summer 2016. Oh, great. When I
Very
discovered
nice.
the wide world of podcasts in 2016. Wow, that's you are showing up at peak podcast. I was looking for a Star Trek podcast and came across, I just want to talk about Star Trek. I wasn't sure what to expect, neither do we, but this show is way better than any Oh, this is the. I wasn't sure what to expect, but this show is way better than anything those Trek FM losers.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, this is so good.
jackasses.
Those jackasses.
Now here we go. Now this is good too. Mike, the Doctor, and all the rest.
Yeah. All the rest.
And all the rest.
Jason became the Professor and Marianne.
You're missing for one episode and you're all there.
Yep.
Mike, the Doctor, and all the rest put out a fun and funny podcast, speaking their minds and not afraid to upset the Trek machine. I like that,
Yeah.
the Trek machine. The military-industrial Trek machine.
Complex.
which relentlessly pumps out Star Trek product for us to watch and consume. Brian Weissel, by the way, friend of the pod, was in Vegas, and he texted me a picture of the Star Trek slot machine.
Excellent.
Yeah, which I mean, seems there's no money in the 23rd century, so I don't understand that. Okay, going on, even when the podcast goes a little off the rails, quote unquote, on an odd tangent, or with an unexpected cameo by a man-eating spider or puking cat,
Yeah.
Ollie, where is he?
it is hilarious. Keep up the good work. We will Astrofly 522. And then there was one other thing on the Facebook page. Where did this person come from?
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, it was like a strange, I don't know how I got this message. And find it again, but someone, I'll find it someday. Let's see. So if, the empty promise to find it someday. This
Someday.
is when the podcast goes off the rails, right here. This is the moment. Just talk a little bit. Let me see if I can find this.
So George Takei. Believe him? Yes, no. Go. I believe him.
I sort of believe him too, to be honest.
I guess you believe the George Takei or the accuser?
I believe George Takei. I don't believe he had any ultra sinister motives other than hanky-panky that he immediately stopped, supposedly. But then he says he doesn't remember this at all and denies it completely.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'd seen the early part of the story and I didn't get his reaction from it.
Well, yeah. So some guy came out and said he molested me or he sexually assaulted me.
Right.
And then there was a clip from Howard Stern, which seemed to validate that. But if you listen to it, it's actually him talking about when he was doing the actual Star Trek series, the original series, and he had an encounter with an extra, I guess. But what this guy accused was actually in the 80s, so that was not part of that. Mm-hmm. And then Decay comes out and he says, I don't remember this guy at all. And he says that this guy is making this stuff up. I don't know. I don't know how to parse that through. It seemed to be a very convincing denial. And his advocacy for gay rights and for all sorts of rights, I'm slightly more inclined to side with him on this one. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I don't know how to. There's so many. Everyone is being accused. It's,
as you said, we all have to prepare our apology speech and our defense and our apology.
Richard Dreyfuss, come on. Really?
Oh, God.
Kim, the line, please.
Take this abuse much longer.
We're gonna do a Jaws podcast someday.
Oh, yeah. I started watching it again the other day. So good.
So good.
Jaws podcast, one-off Jaws podcast.
Well, no, we have. There's 4.
What do you mean it goes off the rails?
I don't think Jaws talk is ever going off the rails.
We'll take 1 minute and talk for an hour.
That's when this spins off of Feral and becomes the I Just Want to Talk About Network. And you can have I Just Want to Talk About Jaws network? In addition to I Just Want to Talk About Star Trek.
Not the movie network, but
right, no.
Movie?
No, the I Just Want to Talk About Podcast Network.
Yes. Yeah.
All random stuff that we like.
Yeah,
you're gonna do your I Just Want to Talk About Cobra.
Yeah. Cobra, yes. Marion Cobretti.
Marion Cobretti, what the hell
was his name? His name was Marion Cobretti.
Oh God,
everybody called him Cobra. No, exactly. That was the bit at the end. Like they learned his name was Marion
with the matchstick.
Yeah.
Oh, I've actually never seen Cobra.
Oh, I think we're gonna have to have a Cobra night because it's amazing.
I'll be there.
Yes. It's so good. It's so horrible. It's great.
Yeah, you're gonna be here Wednesday, aren't you,
yep.
Kim? Well, I'll be here. I'm back.
Oh. Well, we were discussing. We have the Star Trek Bridge Crew VR game up here.
Oh yeah.
At the Grove.
Oh
the IMAX VR. So we'll
first we have to figure out Derek Mears.
Yeah, we'll figure out when Derek can join.
We'll get Derek. And, yeah. So after this week, we're gonna have. We'll do a couple more of these crazy round robin things. We might have some more people come in. I know there's a lot of people who want to weigh in on this.
How about how many more episodes of the Orville do we have? Do we know?
One next week, was there?
I think.
I remember if I saw a preview.
So they were one ahead.
Oh, there were a way to find out.
Yeah. Kim, would you look?
Jason, look it up.
Come back to us tomorrow about that. We'll podcast tomorrow all about it.
I'll fax you my findings.
Fax you my findings.
You now, as a listener, you don't necessarily have to listen to the rest of this. This is just us kind of doing like friendship housekeeping.
Friendship housekeeping.
It's just kind
of been so busy. Well, they've been so busy. I haven't really had a chance to talk. I went up to LA last Wednesday, and both these fools were busy or out of town.
I know.
With good reason for Mike.
Yeah. So.
I had no good reasons.
Jason, no good reasons.
Jason just doesn't like me.
I'm not going to meet up with you. I don't like you. Barely tolerates the podcast. He's the angry Stamets of this conversation.
Keep him alive until we're done.
Jason thrashing
I'm only doing one more of these. There's one more episode of the Orville. I'm only doing one more podcast.
And the rest.
Jason. No, yeah, I was off in Colorado where my 10-year-old son, came in first place for the National Olympics competition. So he was the Future Stars, they call it, and it's the best of the best. And he competed against kids from all across the country in the 10-year-old category, and he won. Crazy.
Amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's I don't understand.
My son.
My
Genetically,
son.
your genetically engineered son. What happened here?
Eugenics War, 1996. Like,
Hey, wait a minute.
Eugenics
Born during
war.
the eugenics wars. Is his middle name Noonian?
it is. I shall avenge
So
you.
funny.
Oh,
All right. So, do we have anything else we need to talk about, which is about Star Trek, or someone else just logged on as a viewer and you've come at the exact wrong time? I'm sorry to say, you've missed all of the Star
Or
Trek.
the right
Andy,
time.
it might be Andy. Andy's been sending me commentary as we go.
Yeah.
That might be Andy. I don't know if this is Jim or if it's my friend Skip Henner. That's a stage name, but whoever it is, we're sorry. We're sorry. This is
We did our best.
we tried.
There's a quick moment in tonight's episode that reminded me of you again because you lurk in my subconscious like spores. When Admiral Cornwell's like, I can't feel my legs. I just thought of Finnegan. Can't feel my legs. You broke me back.
You broke me back. Here, can you feel this?
Hey, Ashy boy. You broke me back.
Yeah, it's so weird that like she's suddenly I can't feel my legs. She kept on saying that. It's like I can feel your legs. They're right there.
So Stones, there's a clearing in the forest. That's how they go. What could that mean?
Is that what he says? There's a clearing in
Yeah.
the forest. That's how they go. That's what
Yeah.
he kind of like barks
He's
out.
in that
When
crazy.
he has the white eyes and
Yeah.
everything.
There's a
He said
clearing in
that
the forest. That's
when
how
he
they
was
go.
in the chamber mid 133 jumps.
See, this is. I mean, again, this is. It's. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they should just make everything so.
No,
opaque.
you said you're not wrong about anything now.
You're right. I don't like this. I want them to spell it out for me because it's. I mean, if you're going to hold something back for us in this age of crowdsourcing information, you can keep that we're not going to figure out. You know, I mean, the minute that you posit something like mysterious, I mean,
Yeah.
a million people are going to get on Reddit or wherever, and they're going to figure it out. They're just going to figure it out because a million people are smarter than you. They're going to find the best answer and be like, "Oh, we got it." And if it's not the best answer, then you're wrong for writing the second best answer. You know, if Vok isn't a Klingon now, then what are we doing? Why do we care about that? You know, it's just some guy with PTSD and slept with a Klingon woman like for 275 days or something. Which is horrible, and we shouldn't make light of it, I guess, because where is that even going? But let's just have interesting stories with cool characters and trick us in the episode. But if you try and do these serialized stuff, we're gonna figure it out. We do it on Game of Thrones, we're gonna figure it out. You can't.
Yeah, people all get together and immediately go, okay, what do you think this meant? Here's what I think. And inevitably, they crack the code or they're disappointed in what you do.
Right. Because the other option is to do Battlestar Galactica. And I'm going to spoil it. If you haven't watched Battlestar Galactica, you've had enough time. But they didn't have a plan. And they had the final 5 Cylons, which they just picked out of a hat. And then the last Cylon was so ridiculous, it made 0 sense, that it was like, it has... Well, yes, you fooled us all, but who cares?
They didn't have a plan. The writers didn't have a plan.
No, they didn't. They finally admitted that, even though in the beginning of the. Have you ever seen Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
It says they have a plan. The writers did not have a plan. They have admitted that. They're like, we did not know what we were doing.
Ron D. Moore, whatever.
Ron Moore, yes, Star Trek alum. You just write far enough ahead to keep getting paychecks.
Like I thought we'd get canceled before season 3. Like,
Exactly.
crap,
Yeah.
now I got to live with what I wrote.
You write yourself into a box, and then you come up with a clever way to get out of it, because that's all that matters. And it's too bad. And
Like
Game of
Lost
Thrones
went
might fall into
crazy.
that now.
Like
What's
Lost
that?
went crazy in its later seasons.
Oh yeah, Lost went completely off the rails, got back on the rails, went off the rails. Giant corks, time travel.
Corks?
Yeah, there was the cork in the.
God.
they had to-
The big wheel. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Wheel and
Yeah.
Jack putting the
donkey
giant
wheel.
The donkey wheel, Jack the cork in the island. That's all he was there to do. He was like in charge of the island for like 35 seconds, then he dies.
After a point, does it just get to where, like, well, the network or whoever says, you're making too much money, we're not going to let you stop, even if you wanted to stop. You wanted to quit while you're ahead.
Well, that
no,
was kind of
you keep going.
That's what happened with every show, including the X-Files and others. And the writers of Lost actually kind of went to the network and said, listen, we want to end this and we want to end it right. We want to do this many episodes and we'll negotiate with you. And they did a few more than they planned on, maybe an extra season, shortened season, but they kind of put their foot down and said, hey, we got to end this because otherwise it's just going to get completely out of control.
But sometimes they're just like, no, you have a contract to write 3 more seasons.
Well, I guess to their credit, ABC figured it out with them, but that doesn't happen on every show. Although it happens more and more. I mean, it happened with Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah, ended on their terms.
Yeah.
I think networks now understand that, like X-Files, they bled out for 9 seasons after Duchovny left. And
now the second reboot season is coming.
I know, and no one wants to watch that. I mean, maybe people do, but it's just, God, David Duchovny comes out from like from around the corner there, and he looks like a monster himself. I'm like, oh my God.
I wasn't the only one who went like, ugh.
It's just like, stay behind the corner, David. Just
you have become the monster.
We will CGI your face, man. Give us another couple more years, man. Everyone's going to look like they're 22. We're all going to be. They already got those emoji things for the iPhone X, and
I sent you one.
Yes.
I haven't listened to it yet. Is that just? Well, do you have the X now, Jason, or no?
Yeah, I got it earlier that last week.
You sent us a talking poop.
Yeah, I didn't send you a talking poop, did I?
No, you sent us an alien face, I think.
I was an alien. Yeah.
Oh.
Jason's not so crass. He doesn't send talking.
I did that to my sister. I sent the talking
knew
poop.
you sent it to me.
Now, listeners, do you remember when we used to talk about Star Trek? I want you to think back.
Think back 30 minutes ago.
Way back when we talked about Star Trek.
Should we sign off now? I mean, I guess we probably should. This is
housekeeping podcast.
Kind of,
friendship housekeeping podcast.
like a boilerplate. We have to kind of get through this stuff. It's
Well, are you gonna record one next Sunday? Are you gonna have some guests? Do your season recap, mid-season recap, analysis?
I guess so. Yeah, there's a bunch of people who want to talk about this season.
People are far more articulate and thoughtful than Jason and me.
Speak for yourself, Doctor.
And the rest.
We might do one without the gang. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Oh,
that's fine.
Well, there's a couple of topics I want to get to. I was thinking about doing one about Kirk versus computers, and some fun ones there.
Yes.
I want to talk to a couple of my friends who've been wanting to be on the podcast. I have a couple of interviews I want to do with I think I mentioned the girl from the Romulan commander's daughter.
Oh, cool.
Was on Star Trek Continues. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Who knows? But
you will do something next Sunday.
I guess. I don't know. Why are you
trying to put him in a box, Doctor?
Well, I might be down there on Saturday.
People want to hear. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, housekeeping. If you keep pressuring me on Sunday, maybe I won't come down on Saturday. No, we're supposed to go down to San Diego. So all of our fans in San Diego, if you want to meet us, go down to Matt Thompson's house. And
oh God.
Stompy Thompson. We're seeing his baby. Provided I don't have anything to write. I think I'm almost done with all my writing, although we'll see. I've got some more writing stuff I might have to do, but we'll see. But maybe we'll do all the three of us together with special guest Matt Thompson on next Saturday. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Sounds like a heap of fun. Yeah.
This is your opponent.
This is your opponent.
But you have my skeleton. Metreons have been listening in.
All right, that's enough. I'm done. I've grown weary of this as usual. Let's stop. Stop right now. Thank you for listening to this. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment on iTunes.
Or he'll shoot you, apparently, if you're watching.
Pew, 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 pew. You can watch us on the Facebook page. You can comment to us on Twitter at Flibidip, at Mike McCafferty, at Jason McCarris. But until then, I'm Mike McCafferty.
I'm Kim Miller.
And I'm Jason McCarris.
And I just want to talk about
Star Trek!